Hello, I'm Sashi with Arizona Health and Wellness Clinic, one of the founders here and the creator of our human capacity system, which I'd love to tell you about right now. I don't think we have a healthcare problem in America so much as we have a human care problem. See, healthcare is really good at treating diseases and not great at treating the human. In fact, we've forgotten how to take care of people. And that's why we built Arizona Health and Wellness Clinic. We're not a healthcare clinic. No, not in the traditional sense. See, we're a human care clinic. That's a huge difference. When was the last time you felt like your doctor really knew you? Not your chart, not your labs, but you as a person. You know, when you walk out of the doctor's office after waiting for 20 or so minutes to see someone, and then that someone's a medical assistant or a nurse and they check all your vitals. That's great, you're alive. Congratulations. You get out of that appointment, you go back to your car, you sit down and you think, well, that didn't go anywhere. That can't be it. There you are, sitting in your car wondering, why did I wait 3 months for that appointment? Why did I have to take time off of work to go get labs drawn somewhere? Just to be told, hey, everything looks normal. I mean, this happens every day to people just like you. Because healthcare is asking one simple question. What is wrong with you? That's not what human care is asking. Human care is trying to find the symptoms to what's making your system not function correctly. You see, healthcare asks, what's wrong with you? Human care asks, what are you capable of? What's possible for you? And look, we've accidentally built a system that's really good at treating diseases. The system waits until people get sick. You go in and see a doctor, you get your antibiotics or you get your shots, but that's really backwards. Most people don't wake up in the morning and think to themselves, boy, I hope my cholesterol's 2 points lower. Or, gosh, I hope my blood pressure is back into normal range. No. People wake up wanting more energy, more confidence, more strength, more ability to handle stress as it enters their life. They want to go home after work. They want to go play with their kids. They want to look in the mirror and say, hey, I recognize that person. That's who I want to be. You see, you don't really need another prescription. You probably just want somebody to listen. And for us, that means knowing your name before you come in the door. Not your chart. Not your labs, not your diagnosis, but to really know you as a person. We ask the tough questions, like what do you want out of your life? And we ask that before we ask you, where does it hurt? It means understanding your biology before we start doing any type of diagnosis. It means knowing what kind of husband you want to be, what kind of wife, what kind of mother, spouse, sister, friend. And while we have numbers on our doors, you are not a room number. You know, as I was recording this, we just had a patient leave, and as she was here for her treatment, she left saying how much she enjoys being here, how we feel like we really care about her and her success, and we do. And that really is the difference between healthcare and human care. Healthcare has become really good at treating diseases, heart disease, high cholesterol, diabetes, blood pressure. And thank God for that, because we do need those treatments. But here's my question for you. Is anybody helping that human become extraordinary, to live their best life? Who's helping you get more energy, get more strength, build more confidence? Look in the mirror and say, that's the person I want to be. Who's helping people become stronger than they were yesterday? Who's helping them understand their hormones? Understanding their blood work, understanding your DNA. You see, that's what human care is all about. I'm going to share something with you, what we see every single day here. Somebody comes in our doors, they're a little nervous, maybe they're a little skeptical, maybe they just don't feel right. Sometimes they're embarrassed, sometimes they're just nervous. And almost every single time, they're frustrated with what they've been told or what they've tried. And we hear a lot of different versions, but the same story. I've tried every diet. I'm counting my calories. I'm exercising. I'm eating right. I'm doing the new fad diet. I'm even taking these shots that are supposed to help me lose weight. I'm working out 5 days a week. I can't lose this weight. And most importantly, I don't recognize the person looking back at me in the mirror. Does that sound familiar? Here's the thing. I believe them. See, I don't think it's a lack of effort. I don't think they're lazy. I don't think they lack discipline. I think they're doing exactly what they've been taught. Just eat less and exercise more. But here's the thing. I don't think they're solving the right problem. Now imagine your check engine light comes on. Are you the kind of person who just takes a little bit of electrical tape and pops it right over that light so you never have to see it again? Or do you go try to diagnose what the problem is and get it fixed? Because you know you need that car to get to work, to do the errands, to do life. And see, what healthcare is doing is it's fixing that light. Most healthcare today is really good at turning off that warning light. Blood sugar, blood pressure, acid reflux, cholesterol, mental health, joint pain, sleeping pills, and most importantly, those shots that just make you magically lose weight. And look, there's nothing wrong with some of these solutions and tools. It's what they are, tools. Sometimes they are life-saving. Now think about if the engine light's still on. Maybe the system is broken. And if the engine is still broken, then that light was never really the problem. Let's use your phone as an example. You've charged it all night, you take it off the charger, you're ready to go about your day. And then all of a sudden, apps start crashing. The battery starts going out real fast. The camera stops working. This just happened to me, in fact. And my fix was to reinstall the operating system. You see, the system, underlying system, was the real root cause of the problem on my phone. It wasn't the Bluetooth kept dropping all the connections and I couldn't listen to what I wanted to in the car. It wasn't that my AirPods stopped working and wouldn't connect correctly. It wasn't that the apps needed to be updated and reinstalled 10 different times. No, the underlying system, the operating system, was malfunctioning. I didn't look at the phone and say, "You're lazy, do better, exercise more and eat less." No, I diagnosed the problem and reinstalled the operating system. And we're humans, we are the same way. Symptoms are not character flaws. They're warning lights. They're information that helps us get to a root cause of the underlying issue. And we've become really good at treating those symptoms. Hey, I did it. I had to keep reinstalling the app I wanted to listen to music on. I would reconnect my CarPlay every day. I worked around what the problem was until it finally got too much for me to deal with, and I needed to make a change. That's the question we ask every day that changes this conversation with every single patient. This might surprise you. We're not trying to create skinny people. We're not trying to create patients. We're trying to create more capable humans, capable of more energy, better parents, better marriages, better spouses, better confidence, a longer lifespan, better performance at your job, a body that's capable of doing the things you're asking of it every single day. Because that's what people really want. You're not looking for a pill to treat a disease. You're looking at how you can be, feel, perform at your highest and best every single day. And we believe every person that comes through these doors has that ability to increase their capacity. But sometimes it's hidden behind inflammation. Sometimes it's hidden behind metabolic dysfunction. Sometimes it's hidden by poor sleep or chronic stress. Sometimes it's just muscle loss. Or it can even be in your genetics. But that doesn't have to limit you. And our job is not to guess. Our job is to understand what is limiting your capacity. And that's where the fun part begins, where we build a plan to increase your capacity. You're probably asking yourself now, well, how the heck do they do that? That's a great question. And one of the real problems in healthcare is starting with the solution before you've diagnosed the problem. And we were guilty of that when we first opened our doors. People were coming in here for GLP shots, and we did that very well. And then we started to see a pattern. We started to recognize there was something else going on. Some people didn't just drop weight taking a shot. Some people had underlying conditions that held them back from getting the results that they wanted. Imagine you want to do a project on your house. So you hire a contractor. And on the first day on the job, he doesn't start measuring things or looking at the plans. He just starts whacking away with a hammer. You would fire him. And look, that's how a lot of healthcare works these days. You walk in, 5 minutes later, you're walking out with a prescription or a pill, a supplement, a diet, a medication, hormones, an injection, without really ever asking the question, what is holding me back? We don't like guessing here. We like understanding. See, for us, everything starts with a conversation. Not blood work, not medication, not peptides, a conversation. And with that, a very simple assessment, a questionnaire you do right online. Tell me about your energy. Tell me about your stress. Tell me about your hormones. Tell me about your goals. Tell me about your dreams, your family, your stress levels. Help us understand what your life looks like day to day. And we use our human capacity assessment to understand where you are today. You see, sometimes the biggest problem isn't the metabolism. Sometimes it's your stress. Sometimes it could be sleep. You could even be burnt out. You could have spent the last 20 years taking care of everybody but yourself. You see, that's human care. The scale lies. All right, it doesn't actually lie, but it doesn't tell the full story. We've seen it. Sometimes you lose 10 pounds and for some reason you look worse. Here's one I think people can relate to these days. Your friend lost 50 pounds and looks like melted taffy. Or they gain 5 pounds and look incredible. Well, why is that? That's fat, muscle, visceral fat, body composition. That's what we actually care about, body composition. And if you're trying to build that house again, it's important to take measurements. And that's what we do with our Staiku 3D body scanner. And lab work helps to validate the problem. I see this all the time. Somebody comes in and says, my doctor said my labs look normal. I usually ask them for their lab work so we can review it. Because normal for who? Were you part of the cohort that was interviewed for the normal range of lab testing? Normal is not optimized. You could be in a normal range and only be a small percentage point above bottom, and they'll tell you you're in normal range. That's not optimization. Is that normal for a 20-year-old? How about an 80-year-old? Because normal does not equate to thriving. And I'm not saying normal lab values are wrong. I'm just trying to explain that sometimes they don't capture the whole picture. It doesn't tell you how you're feeling or what your goals are. In fact, those labs help us validate what we may already be thinking, but they certainly do not replace the conversation. And this is one of my favorite things we're doing these days in the clinic, DNA testing. Because your DNA is not your destiny, just like blood work isn't your destiny. Your DNA is your blueprint. Your DNA tells us what your body was born with, what your body is capable of, but not what's happening today. That's the blood work. See, the DNA helps explain so much to us. Just like one person can respond to carbohydrates in their diet and another person could do great with keto. That doesn't mean keto is wrong or right. It just means that that person may respond better to a higher fat content in their diet. In fact, my body struggles holding on to oxidative stress and does not recover very well. It detoxifies slower than it should. And that blueprint helped me create a plan of how to overcome what my DNA was limited by. That DNA can help explain why you have underlying inflammation all the time. And look, DNA is predisposition, not predestined. And this blueprint helps us create a plan with you to solve the problem. People come in here and ask all the time, what peptides should I take? And that's just the wrong question. They come in and ask, what hormones do I need? Again, that's the wrong question. Should I be on a GLP-1? Again, the wrong question. The better question is, what personalization do I need as an individual? And sometimes nutrition is enough. Sometimes better sleep is enough, or decreasing your stress in your day-to-day life, or decreasing your inflammation. Sometimes those things are enough. And sometimes it is hormone optimization, or a GLP-1, or a peptide. And sometimes it's an IV, or maybe an aesthetics treatment. And then sometimes it's all of those things working as an orchestra. You see, the treatments should fit the human, not the other way around. And I want to be really clear here. We are not anti-medication. We are anti-cookie cutter. And that's been a big problem in the weight loss industry forever. I don't wake up hoping that people come in here and want peptides. I don't wake up hoping everybody needs hormones. The thing that gets me out of bed is trying to understand what each individual person needs, and how we can help them increase their capacity, and how we can eliminate all of the misinformation and inputs coming to us through social media, TV ads, your friend's friend's friend, your aunt, your uncle, your sister, your mother's brother's cousin, whoever it is. Everybody has a friend who did this on this. That worked for them. That does not mean it's going to work for you. And that is exactly what personalized medicine should be. And look, I built this thing. The human capacity system is not that complicated. If we distill this thing down to its core, we find the problem, we measure the problem, we validate the problem, and then we explain the problem. And then the part that's really fun is we build a roadmap with you to increase your capacity. And the exciting part for us is to watch what happens when we start increasing someone's capacity. Can I ask you something? What is it you actually want? Not what do you want to weigh, how much do you want to bench press, but what do you really want? And from the data we've gathered in the human capacity assessments, people aren't answering they want to lose 30 pounds. They're answering with things like, I want to feel like myself again. I want to be proud of the person that I see looking back at me in the mirror. I want to have the energy to go through a full day. I want to play with my grandkids. See, they're not answering things like, I want more testosterone, or I want weight loss medication, or I want to have great cholesterol. They're answering things that we want as humans. I want more confidence. I want to feel better about who's looking at me in the mirror. I want to be around to watch my grandkids get old. They're not looking for just better sleep. They want more energy. They want to recover better. They want to go exercise more. They want to wake up every day excited for what life is going to bring their way. It's not I want lower inflammation. It's I want to get on the floor, play with the grandkids, and then get up when I'm done. Or I want to be able to get out of bed pain-free. And here's going to be the shocking thing you're going to hear right now. We're a business. We don't want to sell weight loss. We sell possibility. Because that's what increasing your capacity creates. We think about the mom who can all of a sudden coach soccer. The husband that can go home and cook dinner after a long day in the office recording videos. That executive who doesn't need to pound espresso to stay awake and function at a high level and lead his company. And one of my favorite things is the woman who comes in here putting on a dress or an outfit that she hasn't worn for the last 10 years. I think about the retired couples who come in here and all of a sudden are able to go do things they never thought was going to be possible again. You see, healthcare is measuring success with numbers. And human care is measuring success with life experiences. With those moments that bring us joy and excitement. The memories that we want to create. Your doctor's going to high-five you when you lower your cholesterol. When your A1C drops, they're going to say you did a great job. The insurance company is going to tell you did a great job if your medication was covered by dropping you because you're in normal range again. But see, we don't look at it like that. We're going to celebrate you walking down the aisle with your daughter at her wedding day. We're going to celebrate the vacation you went on and you were able to go surfing again. Healthcare is going to celebrate that 20-pound loss. And we're going to celebrate you wearing that outfit again. We're going to expand what's possible. We're going to expand your energy. We're going to expand your confidence. We're going to expand your future. Build. We're going to build confidence. We're going to build muscle. We're going to build habits. Build relationships, build resilience, build recovery, build health. And that's going to set up perform. Perform at work, at home, in the bedroom, with the kids, on the golf course, in the gym. Perform as a spouse, as a parent. Most importantly, perform as a human. One of the things that really got to us was people come in and say, I want to lose 20 pounds. And that's when we realized that there needs to be something else here at the end of this journey, is that there is no end to this journey because you need to preserve what you've built. Preservation of the weight you lost, the body transformation, the energy, the stress, the recovery, everything you've just done. How do we preserve those results for the future? How do you build healthy habits and lifestyle, perform at your best, right? And then preserve it for the rest of your life. You see, we're not just increasing lifespan, we're increasing life within that span. Maybe you've accepted it. Maybe you've accepted that you're just getting old, or that this is menopause, or I'm just supposed to lose my hair. Maybe you're like me and you just accepted that you were going to have a dad bod for the rest of your life. There was a time that I accepted that, but I decided I could make that change, and you can too. Because look, none of that is actually true. You just accepted a lower capacity of what you're capable of. That does not have to be your destiny. And look, don't confuse common, everybody else, with normal. It's not normal to be stressed out all the time. It's not normal to just have a dad bod. It's not normal to be feeling like crap every time you get out of bed. And it's not normal for everyone to be overweight around you. You do not have to accept that you're part of that common, normal behavior. And everyone around you might be stressed. That does not mean you need to make that normal. It just makes it common. All right, do me a favor. If you're still listening to all this and you've gotten through this far, close your eyes for me. All right? Imagine where you are 1 year from now, doing nothing, living exactly the way you are, grabbing fast food after an 8 to 10 hour day in the office, bringing that home, feeding the kids, living for the weekend just to get drunk and enjoy a few moments that you get not working. Imagine you have the same habits, those same choices, same decisions, same acceptance of what common is for you. All right, maybe your eyes aren't closed anymore, and that's fine. Here's what I want you to imagine now. Imagine you took the first step today. In 1 year from now, while everything else around you is common, it is not your normal. 1 year from now, you've built muscle, you've lost fat, you're sleeping better, your recovery is great. Heck, you've even managed to grow some hair again. And yes, as a byproduct, your lab work looks great. You understand how your body works. You feel better, you're stronger, you're more resilient, you can recover, you have less inflammation. And all it required was a small step and a little bit of effort. So now ask yourself, what is holding you back? What excuse are you going to give yourself after all that? And when I started talking to you here, I was talking about human care. And I think you know what that means by now, because human care is not about just treating an illness, right? It's about helping you be the best version of yourself, increasing your capacity, and showing yourself what you are capable of. And I have a real simple belief here. Everybody has the capacity to live better and live the way they want to. The only thing standing in your way is you. And my goal is not to have patients forever. Our goal is to teach, to be able to give you the knowledge, the power, the tools that you need to increase your capacity, to be the person you want to be, to live the life you want to live. Because when we do this right, absolutely your lab values are going to look better. But that's not what we're here for. We're here to make sure your life is better. We want you to understand your body the way you've never understood it before. And I know this isn't for everybody. Some people just want a magic pill and everything works. I got news for you. There is no magic pill. This takes work and dedication, consistency. If you just have that spark of motivation, drop us a line, give us a call, send us a text, an email, pick up the phone, whatever it is. That little spark of motivation is all you need. We'll help you build the consistency. We'll help you build the capacity. We will help you be the best version of yourself, the one you want to stare back at the mirror every day. If you made it this far, first, thank you. I don't just talk to hear myself speak, as much as my wife might think that. Something I said here hopefully has resonated with you, and that means a lot to me. Remember how I started this. We have a health care problem. That's not what we're doing here. That's not the problems that we solve. We solve human care problems. We educate, we coach, we encourage, we celebrate. That's what we're here for.